Hey guys, what is up? So I watched Shane Dawson's docu-series, his 3-episode docu-series, and I already covered the first episode, The Cancelled World of Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson, so feel free to watch that first. I'll leave a link below before continuing on, if you want to. But anyways, with that being said, let's get right into the video. So the second episode of his docu-series, The New World of Jeffree Star, it really was Shane just packing and getting ready to go to or fly to Casper, Wyoming to meet Jeffree, to see his house, to see his land, etc. So in this vlog, Shane's packing. Shane's like, I'm so nervous to see Jeffree. And he's like, wait a minute, like this wasn't planned, but it would be awesome if we saw the palette that him and Jeffree made, but was never put on the shelves. So they arrive in Casper, Wyoming, and Jeffree picks them up. And what's so funny is Jeffree, like, he calls himself leveling down, I guess, which is true to a certain point because he lived in that $20 million mansion, but he didn't really like level down in Casper, Wyoming. He's still like leveled up there, if that makes sense. But anyways, I also want to make a note that I did feel sorry for Jeffree because you got to think it must be, well, Jeffree's owning it, but it must be kind of hard to go into a state where they're not really gay friendly. I mean, that's my take on it. I don't think Casper, Wyoming is that. Jeffree even makes a joke out of this, saying that here they don't say they and them, you know? So anyways, they all get into Jeffree's electrical Hummer, and Jeffree's like, they only have 1,500 of these, and I have one of them, you know? Jeffree bragging. And at some point where they're all having a conversation, Jeffree pulls out his gun. And I was just like, this is so not necessary. Like, what is the point of having a gun? We get that you have guns, you know, in this state, it's legal to actually carry a gun like this, but it's just, for what? For the camera? And then Shane actually holds the gun. Jeffree's teaching him how to hold it. So to each their own, I guess. I'm not gonna sit here, unfortunately, and give a rant about things that are legal. So we'll keep it going. So the whole entire time while Jeffree, he's driving, his assistant, Chris, the camera guy, Ryland, and Shane, there's like this suspense of, you know, what exactly is Jeffree going to tell Shane? Because, you know, in the beginning of this documentary, before Shane left to go see Jeffree, Shane does tell us that, hey, you know, I was on FaceTime with Jeffree and he told me something, but I'm gonna wait until he tells you, until we're in Wyoming. So the suspense is there. Jeffree does share with us that he sold a lot of his bags and he really doesn't need that many like materialistic things, which is totally false. But, you know, he doesn't need those things to be happy anymore. He already bought the big house. His ego felt like he needed to prove a point. And so now, you know, he wants to settle down. He's so much more happier. Jeffree even mentions the tragic car accident that he had. I actually made a video about that, so I'll leave a link below if you want to watch. But, you know, he shares with us that, you know, his back is a little bit more straightened after that accident. So he's really just kind of catching up with Shane in life. So now they arrive at Jeffree's home, and of course, Jeffree is bougie, has a Star Yak Ranch gate, and he actually made his own street, his own road. He built his own road, Star Creek Road, and it's on Google Maps. So as they arrive at the house, everyone is catching up. Shane, he's playing with Jeffree's Pomeranians. But what was interesting is that Jeffree still had guns on the counter. Like, what is going on? I guess shooting guns is a hobby, but I don't know. I just felt like, were they really left out for the cameras for Shane to film that or what? Because it was just weird, you know? Like, when I think of guns, I think of accidents. Jeffree shares with us that he's actually been super busy. Like, he still runs Jeffree Cosmetics, but he's been super busy with his yak farm. And this is interesting because there was a lot of noise about this. Jeffree, he's selling yak. And to me at the time, I could care less. I was like, okay, like, you guys are not yelling at farmers for selling, you know, cows and shit, right? So I thought that was just really hypocritical of a lot of people on Twitter, actually, when this happened. However, However, after watching this, I think the only thing that really annoys me, which is what we'll see when I talk about the episode 3, the last episode of his series, is that Jeffree's like, these are the yaks that I don't eat. These are my friends. And it's like, how could you hang out with these cute baby yaks and then make a burger out of them and eat them? I just think it's weird. Like, it would make sense, you know, for you to have a yak farm, right? It would make sense for you to do the whole business thing, sell them to restaurants and stores. That makes sense. But then to actually spend your time and be like, oh, they're so cute and all of that, and then eat them for dinner, I don't know. It's weird. Jeffree also shares with us that he no longer fears what's to come. Like, he used to when he was living in California, like, you know, oh my gosh, am I gonna get canceled? What's gonna happen next? But now he doesn't fear that anymore. And you know what was just annoying about this video? This whole mood, these undertones of all of these horrible things happened to us. I was canceled, the internet hated me, so this is how I dealt with it. It was this and that. And I felt like that illustrates they learned nothing, because all this time they presented their cancellation, even though there's no such thing as being canceled, but they presented people not watching their videos anymore, not supporting them, as things that happened to them, but they never like looked themselves in the mirror and was like, I made it happen. Like, what pissed me off was Jeffree acted like someone robbed him. He was so innocent, when in reality, he gave the robber his address, the key, you know, the passcodes to the alarm system. Like, it doesn't make any sense that he can't even take accountability for his own actions. So yeah, people were right to not support him, because he still doesn't get it that you were the reasons to why you got canceled. No one's supporting you. So that just pissed me off this whole entire time. Shane too. They're all just like, you know? And that's good that they're like boycotting social media for their mental health and well-being. That's great. But like, let it be known, it was your fault. Like, you guys were the reasons why people don't support you anymore. Anyways, so then they go downstairs because Jeffree's like, I'm not going to show people my room anymore. I'm very private, which is understandable. So they go downstairs to Jeffree's house where there's an arcade like he had in the other mansion. And Jeffree shares with all of us that he's quitting YouTube. He's quitting YouTube because he doesn't get any views anymore. He's tired of trying when he doesn't get any views. Like, he bought the mansion so that way he can make great content, but no one is clicking. Now, for me of a channel my size, I've never received 1 million views ever. So I would be like jumping up and down, like, woo, 1 million views, that's awesome. But to Jeffree Star, 1 million views, and to Shane, that's really nothing. Because if you really do look, they were getting 51 million views. You know what I mean? So to their level, I actually get where they're coming from. And you know, once again, Jeffree is not taking accountability, because Jeffree's like, you know, I don't get any views anymore. What's going on? Dude, you got canceled because of shit that you did. Bad behaviors. Things that you've said. So the fact that that's just kind of, whoop. Good. Don't be on YouTube. It's okay. I'll live. So that was the end of the second episode of the series. And all I could think the whole time were like, you idiots. I mean, look. The number one thing is that they took care of their mental health, their mental well-being, but then I felt like they missed something. It's like they accepted being canceled, but they didn't accept what they did to be canceled. So that was very annoying to witness again. So now the third episode of Shane's docu-series, last episode, was the end of Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson. So this one, it was a waste of time. I'm so tired of Shane calling these things documentaries. This was a vlog that really could have been 5 minutes long. Actually, the whole series that he did could have been one video. It was just a waste of time. You know, overhyping this didn't really help him in his favor. Yes, this video, all of his videos were trending #1 on YouTube, but they're not getting that many views because people are not supporting him, you know, which is understandable. So anyways, the last episode was basically them revealing the palette. I kid you not, it's an hour long, but the whole entire time, you know, Rylan and Shane, they are in a hotel or in a comfort inn, and they're just kind of accepting, or I should say Shane is at first not really happy that Jeffree is quitting YouTube and really wants to convince him to not quit YouTube. They end up going to a restaurant where Jeffree has his yak on the menu. His yak is a burger on the menu. So they all sit around and they try it. I mean, they hang out with Jeffree and his yak. Throughout this episode, the video constantly switches back and forth to Shane and Jeffree working on a palette. You know, they didn't even really come up with a name. I mean, I felt like it was going to be the Doomsday palette. They show us the palette at the very end, but like, there was not, like, guys, this is why I couldn't make a video last week, because there's nothing, it's just a bunch of filler of Shane and Jeffree making the palette, and it would last forever. I'm like, why? I watched this for an hour, but I'm not sure what I watched, because that was it. Like, there was nothing. Okay, so I forgot to mention this. There's a part where Jeffree is like, that guy, you know, doesn't know me. People know I haven't drank. I don't drink. I've never drank. And then Jeffree, like, explains the photo of him with an alcohol bottle as that's just, you know, me with a bottle, but that doesn't show that I actually drink anything. And my response, and that guy is D'Angelo Wallace, but my response is, what do you expect people to think? So now you're going to blame D'Angelo Wallace for a photo that you took with an alcohol bottle? You made your bed. It's so stupid to me, but I forgot to mention that it was funny, you know, once again, not taking any responsibility, accountability for anything. It's all D'Angelo Wallace's fault. Towards the end of the video, Shane is like, you know what? Okay, Jeffree, after hanging out with your yaks and to see you happy, you know, eating your yak at a restaurant and yada, 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 I can see why you want to quit YouTube. Okay. And like, you know, Rylan and Shane, they do have a discussion of, well, we moved out of LA to kind of, you know, get a break for our own mental well-being, and Jeffree's doing the same. Towards the end, they showed us the palette, and they do share with us that they're not going to actually sell it, that it's just going to be in the makeup vault or whatever, because I thought they were going to sell it, unless, you know, maybe next week they might say that they are going to sell it. But anyways, was that with the palette. They just wanted to share that they really enjoyed making the palette. But because of their cancellation due to D'Angelo Wallace videos, his good videos on them, they couldn't put the palette on the shelves. Honestly, guys, this is a video that I wish I had more positive things to say. You know, and it's not even that I hate these people because I don't know these people. It's more of, this is what you get. You know, I don't feel sorry for any of them. You know, I wish I did, but I don't. If anything, these two are more privileged than ever, because here they are talking about their cancellation, but Jeffree's talking about doing a business, and I just saw on my phone that he's opening up a retail store. So, like, what? You know, he's doing just fine. And Shane, he's still friends with YouTube because his video is #1 trending, even though it's not getting as much views as it nearly would have gotten like 2 or 3 years ago. So I just, you know, I don't feel sorry for anyone. He needs to stop calling, oh my God, Chris the camera guy. They need another camera guy, because his whole entire video was shaky as it was so shaky, it made me dizzy. I had to keep pausing and taking breaks, going upstairs, drinking some water, coming back down because he kept shaking the camera. So I'm just like, for Shane, go to film school, because here's the thing about documentaries. You know, you call this a docu-series, but there's really nothing that makes it a documentary. You, like, going from one clip to 2021 to 2020 doesn't make it a documentary. You using music for like 1 minute of the video doesn't make it a documentary, okay? And you know what I mean? You keep going back and forth, and the way how the style is organized, it doesn't make it a documentary. So that's what pisses me off too. Take 2 classes. You don't have to actually major in it, but take 2 classes. You would know how to make a documentary. And look, I know it sounds like I'm trying to put someone down. I'm really not. I'm just questioning who told Shane that his videos were good. You know what I mean? Like, comedy is different for every person. So no, I don't find him funny, but that's fine. Well, I think the first episode I did laugh at some things, but generally speaking, I'm not like cracking, laughing, you know, off of the edge of my chair watching his content. But what's interesting to me is like Shane has this ego, like he's really good at like making videos doing this thing. And like obviously with the millions of subscribers, you would think that, but I'm like, it's awful. Like the videos were awful. Like I couldn't even focus. So it's very interesting that he was able to gain millions of subscribers from this shit. That was a 3-episode of Shane's docuseries. You guys did not miss much. I mean, that is literally what happened. I mean, I wanted to tell you more because it was an hour long, right? But anyways, leave a comment below. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you soon on the next video. Bye, guys.